everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XVI. This is episode 36. Last time, we started some more side quests, and we are continuing to work our way through some side quests. They were good, though. We're getting some good side quests, which is nice. We did a lot of ones that were tied to Waloed, took on another behemoth, and we're going to go to our reading table here as we have a new missive with a side quest attached. Treasure hunt? What? You didn't think I was just saying stuff about hiding my engine, did you? Wouldn't you know? I've already a fine spot picked out and everything. If you're going to go on this grand adventure, you'll need to be quick about your business with that ruddy god of yours. Take too long and somebody more clever might beat you to the prize. I suppose in that case, I could bury you one of my lesser inventions. Goddess knows I've countless. Id. Making amends. Master Clive, I am aware there are matters of much greater import which demand your attention, but should you find yourself a moment, I bid you visit me in the shelves that I might ask a single favor concerning His Highness, Prince Dion. Harpocrates. Answer his summons.
It's usually me making demands of Harpocrates. I wonder what this is about.
Alright, let's go have a look, shall we?
Lawsman Harpocrates, I received your note.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion, but I can't imagine what for.
Then I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor. This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Cid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the dragoons, his studies no longer being deemed necessary. I had not expected to meet with him again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting, not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him, and I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, when what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
I see. I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail. Apothecaries across the ages agree that even to glimpse such a flower is to be granted inner solace. Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found where even the most outlandish opinions align.
Well, it can't hurt to try. Where can I find this flower? And how will I know it?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossoms from whose roots the poisonous ink for the brand is distilled. Well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which they are raised, the deeper the colour. There is a waterfall in Rickmal's roost across the strait, where the flowers once grew in abundance. Whether they still survive there, I know not. But try as I might, I can find no likelier location.
It's all right. I'll find you a wyvern tail one way or another.
Thank you, Clive. And please, be safe.
Alright, time to find a wyvern tail near Rickmal's roost. Interesting. If only it was a real wyvern's tail. I got plenty of those in my stash, probably. Alright, there's another side quest added to our pile. Interesting bit of lore. He used to tutor Dion before he went into the Dragoons. Another quest for a Waloed, interestingly enough. Okay. We'll have to check that out. I think we should go and have a look at the quests that are available to us. We'll grab them. Briar's Kisses, Lines in the Sand 2. So this will be a follow-up on our friend that was forced to run out of town. And this is for Joshua. While we also need to speak with Cyril. Let's do this one. 2 in 1 stone. I wanted to talk to that guy. Okay, I meant to talk to the guy. That's fine.
Your Grace, my lord, I trust your journey was not overly onerous.
Cyril, you found a letter from Father?
Yes, I have it here. If you would do us the honor, my lord.
My beloved sons, I know that I ask much of you in this coming war, but I see no other way to secure a future for our duchy and our family. Yet even should we succeed in subduing the savages and winning back Drake's breath, the threat of the Blight still looms, and only with all Rosaria striving as one might, we at last overcome it. I have made plans to see us through, but such are the obstacles that stand in our way. It shall likely fall to you to continue my work. I know that you have the strength, the courage, and the will to do so. The will is important. This should be an arduous inheritance, and so I offer you another, that you might be reminded of the love and the faith that I hold for you both.
An inheritance?
It would seem the late Archduke penned this missive shortly before his passing.
The day before we left for Phoenix Gate. What are these plans he spoke of?
His plans for the duchy, Your Grace. Your father entrusted them to my predecessor, the former bearer of the Burning Quill, who entrusted them in turn to me. The complete emancipation of bearers is their stated aim. But your father's dream did not end there. His Grace also spoke of building hospices to care for those stricken by the curse, and the founding of a new university to further the development of non-magical technologies. With the Blight spreading ever more widely across the Twins, Archduke Elwyn saw this as the only means of securing Rosaria's survival.
He wished to see men and bearers treated as equals. To see centuries of common wisdom overturned. Small wonder he did not think it achievable within his lifetime.
But he thought it achievable nonetheless. Had he not, he would never have written this message. Nor would he have entrusted his vision to his most faithful aides, those who would have stood with you, shielded you from the machinations of the less benevolent personages at court.
It's a pity only they are still with us.
'Tis true that those most loyal to your father were the first to suffer the Duchess's wrath. But one at least remains, and she has come bearing gifts.
What do you mean?
Mayhap it is better that she explain, my lord. After all, the duties entrusted to me by my predecessor extended only to recovering His Grace's will and arranging a meeting with the one who might execute it, or a part of it at least.
And where is this woman?
She awaits you in the archive, Your Grace.
Thank you, Cyril. Shall we then?
To the archive we head off to then. Archduke Elwyn's Testament. They speak with Archduke Elwyn's aid in the Requitry. Requietry. Requietry.
This is the Requietry.
Requietry.
An archive
I knew
where
that.
we of the Undying collect and collate our findings. Fragments of Ultima's true nature surely lie buried within these pages. We have only to unearth them.
Cyril's guest. Not someone I recognize. Oh, God. Reading. Lord Cyril, acolytes stationed across Valisthea, reported a curious change in the primeval structures we have come to refer as monoliths, following the fall of Drake's tail and the change in the skies. Allow me to present the preliminary findings of our archaeologians' investigations into those monoliths most near at hand. We were able to visually confirm the activation of the structure in the northern reaches of the Velcroy, but a sandstorm forced our temporary retreat. We'll make a second attempt when the wind drops. In Dracos Deep, our team was able to make direct contact with the monolith. However, no further change was observed upon touching its surface, nor upon dealing it several stout blows with both fist and blade. Whatever the purpose of its activation, it would appear to be other than that of the defensive echoes we have encountered among previous relics of the Fallen and their predecessors. We shall continue our investigations both of the monoliths proper and of any historical writings that might refer to them, and inform your lordship forthwith that they should produce any discoveries of note. May the Phoenix's flame burn ever in your heart, by Tomage. Studying them fallen echoes. First Order of Archaeologians, Dalmatian Wing, in the 53rd Monthly Report. Item 1. Further discoveries from our acolyte ensconced within the recently displaced mountain dwellers' remote settlement. The diminutive tribe's main village appears to be in receipt of regular deliveries of supplies from Hugo Kupka's Men of the Rock. On inquiring with the locals, it became apparent that they have the deepest respect for the one they called Lord Kupka, but whether he has merely bought their loyalty, or if there is some deeper connection between the tribe and Titan, remains unclear.
The Undying are not the only secret fellowship in this realm, you know. There are others, each working for their own ends. Why, not so very long ago, a society committed to discovering how one might cast magics without a catalyst was found to be operating throughout Valisthea. They were denounced as heretics, rooted out, and driven from our shores, never to be seen again.
And then we know that there's the executors that like to, set the record straight with their books.
My lord, your grace. I hardly recognize you. I am Goditha, retainer of House Rosfield, loyal servant to the Phoenix and his shields. Your father, the Archduke Elwyn, entrusted me with the delivery of a gift. I only hope you can forgive my tardiness in bringing it to you.
Lift up your head, Lady Goditha. You have our gratitude for your service to our house and to our father.
I merely did my duty, as any proud Rosarian would.
My lady, perhaps you could explain a little more? What exactly is the gift you bring?
As I'm sure you know, it has long been the custom for the children of House Rosfield to be presented with certain keepsakes upon their coming of age.
Indeed it has. Our father often spoke of the day when our turn would come.
And had he lived to see it, he would have presented you with the treasures I bear. Matching armbands for you both. Alas, he did not live. Indeed, he was taken from us even before they could be completed. He had intended to claim the Heartstone with which each armband was to be finished himself, but it was not to be. And his gifts remain incomplete.
I see.
It saddens me to bring them before you, as they are. It was your father's wish that you be presented with the finished articles, not these, works in progress. But with his grace long since gone, and the stone left unclaimed, I had little choice. You are grown men now, and his house is yours. And while I would not presume to insist upon your claiming the Heartstone in his stead, I know that nothing would have pleased him more than for you to do so.
Thank you, Lady Goditha.
What say you, Clive?
What else? Of course, my lady. May our father's will be done.
Oh, I am much obliged.
Do you know where we might find this heartstone, my lady?
I do. Though it may be a matter of a good deal more than simply happening upon it. It is found in the bellies of elder griffins, you see. We do at least know where to find one. A certain specimen has made its nest in Titan's Wake, not far from here.
A certain specimen?
You are most perceptive, Your Grace. In answer to your unspoken question, yes. In fact, this is the very same beast your father meant to slay. I have been tracking its movements since you were but a boy. Were you to slay it in his stead, as men of House Rosfield, it would surely make your father proud.
What say you, Joshua?
What else?
Nice. All right, let's go have a Griffin remake. Remake? Rematch. Slay Simurg in Titan's Wake.
The griffin your father meant to slay is currently nesting in Titan's Wake, not far from here. Slay it in his stead, and claim the Heartstone that he could not.
Let's go. All right. We'll also check in on Duty Undying 2.
Titan's Wake is to the south of here. But we must not be hasty. The good lady has been disappointed once already.
Can't do without it.
The bearer of the burning quill is within, my lord. Will you enter?
Lord Marquis, if you have a moment.
What is it, Cyril?
One of our brethren lately journeyed across the strait in order to pursue a new avenue of inquiry in our ongoing investigation. He sent an owl some while ago, but we have heard naught from him since.
Was he surveying another fallen ruin?
No. The object of his study was a savior cult that has arisen in Ash in recent years. We believe it may have some connection to the Circle of Malleus, an ancient religion that worshipped Ultima as its god. By gaining an understanding of this new faith, we hoped to learn more of the Circle's original beliefs.
And so you sent one of your brothers to Ash? A continent teeming with orcs and Akashic?
Fully cognizant of the risks, yes. I entrusted the mission to one of the most able of our order, the Third Chair, a master of the arts of combat and survival both. Though he has been silent for some days now, I have thus far refrained from sending any others in search of him, lest they be lost in turn. Yet, it seemed only right to inform you of the situation, given your unique experience of the perils of Ash. For as you so earnestly advised me, it would not do to abandon a man to his fate, when he might yet be saved.
It would not. But Ash is a big place. Can you be any more specific?
Perhaps. The last owl I received from him mentioned a village where he had heard the cult were wont to assemble. Mickleburg was its name. It lies in the southern reaches of Waloed. If aught ill befell him, I expect it did so there.
Right. I'll see what I can do.
You are much too kind, my lord. Go then, with my hopes, and may the Firebird's flame ever burn in your heart.
Alright. He talks so slowly. Off to Waloed once again. Off to Waloed, Mickleburg.
When last I heard from him, the Third Chair was bound for Mickleburg. If you mean to seek him out, my lord, I can think of no better place to start.
Right on, dude. Alright. We are going to go for this griffin. We can get to Titan's Wake from this way. Let's go take on a griffin, dude. Been a long time since we faced off against one. Feels like an age ago. It was for Blacksmith Blues. First one, I think.
Eyes peeled, Joshua.
Oh, I've got a level 5 Zansetsuken prepared. Here's one I prepared earlier.
There it is.
For House Rossfield.
I can't see. Okay.
Too slow. Over here! Nice try. Thank you, brother. Too slow.
I was hoping to get staggered in time. There we go.
Nice try. All yours, Torvald.
But every time I think I'm going to dodge one, I just fail tremendously. My God. So close. So close. Griffin slain. Kept dodging the worst ones to do. I've got 2 heartstones. Griffins suffer something akin to the crystal's curse, their flesh slowly turning to stone over a lifetime of channeling ether. Unlike bearers, however, the effect is far more gradual and limited to a sac around their hearts, the slower progress of petrification resulting in the formation of a gemstone of rare beauty. Let's go.
Is this the Heartstone?
I expect Lady Godotha will know.
Lady Godotha, returning to Tabor. Time to get some fancy inherited armbands.
Oh, thank the Founder you were safe. The Griffin is slain then?
And the Heartstone claimed.
Yes. This radiant luster, like frozen flame, it is just as your father described it. Thank you, my lord. Your Grace, your father would be so proud.
Lady Goditha, the lapidary is ready.
Thank you, Cyril. I will be with him shortly. If you would excuse me, I shall have the stone cut and set forthwith. The armbands are complete. Pray, take them. They are yours, after all. Heartstone is harder and more enduring than garnet, or even ruby. It symbolizes unwavering will and devotion, and the graven vines encircling the stone represent the unbreakable bonds between you.
It's a message. Father knew we had enemies both inside and outside the duchy. Enemies who would thwart his vision. Only with unwavering devotion would it ever be realized.
And only if we stood together, as phoenix and shield, as brothers in arms, only then might those enemies be overcome.
Indeed. His Grace knew the enormity of the task he would entrust to you, his heirs. But this was more than just a message. It was a promise. That he would always be with you.
Thank you, Lady Goditha, for remaining the steadfast custodian of our father's will.
Forgive me, my lady, but there is something I don't quite understand. The Undying told me that after father died, mother claimed all of the ducal treasures for her own. Even if the armbands were incomplete, she would surely not have overlooked them. So, how were you able to keep them from her?
Because I was the keeper of the vault. Though I was but a lowly servant, your father spoke to me of his intentions for the bands, of the deep love he had for both of you, and his hopes for your future. In the days before the disaster at Phoenix Gate, I discovered that the Duchess had ordered her jewelry be sent away from the castle. It was then that I knew she meant to betray us. I tried to warn your father, but it was too late. When word of the fire reached Rosalith, I knew my time was short. So I took up the armbands and I fled into the night.
And thank the Founder you did.
Yet my duty to your father was incomplete. Not knowing what else to do, I followed the griffin, thinking I might claim the Heartstone on its passing. And so my pursuit continued, until Lord Cyril appeared before me. He informed me that his Grace's will had been recovered, and that his sons were alive and well.
Lady Goditha, on behalf of my father and all the people of Rosaria, I thank you for your loyal service.
As do I.
Thank you, my lord. Your Grace, for coming back to us, for giving my service meaning.
Nice, the Founder's Grasp.
I remain your faithful servant, my lord.
These bad boys. Oh, maybe it's an actual thing to wear. It is. Oh, look at that. An actual goddamn honest-to-God upgrade over everything that we've had. Wow. I'm not used to seeing the vambraces actually give us an upgrade. Fashioned after those pictured adorning the wrists of the mythical founder in ancient engravings, Archduke Elwyn intended to gift these bands to his beloved sons upon their coming of age, that they might serve to remind them of the unbreakable bonds they share as proud scions of the ducal line, and the unwavering devotion that would be required to see their duty done. Nice.
The bands suit you well. It must be gratifying to finally receive the inheritance that was denied you for so long.
It is. And we thank you for the part you played, Cyril.
If you would permit me to play my part a little longer, might I suggest that you make your way to your father's memorial atop Hawk's Cry Cliff. Let him see that you have received his blessing. and that his vision lives on in you.
I suppose it would be churlish not to. What do you say, Clive? Shall we pay Father a visit?
I think we should. I was hoping to be able to offer him my thanks before we left for Origin.
Your father's helm is enshrined there. It has been since the day we recovered it from Phoenix Gate. I prithee claim it, for it too is a part of your inheritance, and I do not doubt that your father would prefer it in your hands than perched upon some lonely rock.
Thank you, Cyril. Come on, Clive. He's waiting.
Let's go visit Father! Visit Archduke Elwin's memorial. And that would be back home. Would it not? Hawk's Cry Cliff. There we go. To this spot. Hero's Bluff. This is still inaccessible. And I'm wondering if it's just permanently inaccessible.
Unwavering will and an unbreakable bond. Do you really think we're strong enough?
To save the world? Of course. To have overcome Father's political enemies? Of that I'm less certain. Especially knowing what we know now. What Mother was truly capable of. But perhaps these bands would have helped. Knowing he was with us would have made all the difference.
I like that they're like, to save the world? Absolutely. To defeat politicians? Oh my lord, I don't know about that. We definitely have the will. We're good.
It's just back there.
Ah. It's this place.
Father always fought for what he believed was right. It wasn't until that night at Phoenix Gate that I realized I had never fought for anything. I always had someone else to do the fighting for me.
No matter how fate conspired against him, he never lost heart, never looked back, never stopped fighting. To me, he was the greatest of men. And I've been trying to live up to his ideals ever since.
We all have, Clive. We all have. And we'll keep trying. Because that's what he would have wanted.
What he would have done himself. Even if it meant standing against the very gods in the heavens.
I shall be borrowing this, Father, if I may. That you might watch over us as we follow in your footsteps.
The ghost of our father. Oh my god. Hello.
We won't lay you down.
Some little bits of ether flowing through the air. There's a nice touch.
Onward then.
Onward. To the end.
And to a new beginning.
This is a great side quest that has good main quest appeal because of the characters that it relates to. For a second there, I was like, "Are we about to get a? We're about to get a Archduke Elwyn Force Ghost appearance?" He's like, "My sons, I have come back through the ether. It's definitely not the Force." Imagine that. He's like, "My sons, I am bound to my grave, but I am a Force Ghost." Archduke Elwyn's helm worn during his victorious campaign to quell the Northern Uprising. Nice. Another trophy for the old collector's shelf. Oh, hang on. Oh, joining hands with Joshua. Joshua has joined Clive's party and will remain with him until departing for Origin. He will never leave my side now. There you go. That's a very interesting pop-up. I never even really thought or considered otherwise. He was just always there anyway. I guess it makes sense. From a side quest perspective, he's not always there. There's a new one at the hideaway, though. Ooh, complete one side quest, and another springs up in its place. We'll head to Northreach because there's 2 here. We're collectively going through them. Trial and error out this way.
Nazaire might at least have mentioned where in Northreach he'd be testing this recruit.
Only right outside.
Is it alright to be nervous?
I don't care either way, so long as you do as I tell you. Well met, Sid. This is the initiate. Ember, present yourself.
At your service, Master.
Please, just Sid. There are no masters here. Your life is your own.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Sid. The sergeant says you'll be evaluating me at my trial.
To become a scout, yes. You are aware of the dangers inherent in that role.
I am. But I swore I'd face them. Just like the man who saved my life.
And who would that be?
Gav. It was him who found me and freed me. No magic, no support, just one man and his nose. Came and sniffed me out. It taught me what one man can do if he puts his mind to it. And I've been training ever since, so that one day I can be someone's saviour, just like Gav was mine.
I'm sure he'd be flattered. You clearly have good intentions, Ember. And it sounds like you're under no illusions. Stick to this path and you'll make a fine cursebreaker.
So, what? Have I passed?
You haven't even started yet. Now listen. Not far from here is an Imperial lookout, Eastwatch. The guards there record all their sightings in a logbook. You are to find it and bring it here.
And bring it here, right. Anything else?
No. Sneaking into a heavily guarded Imperial outpost and stealing the logbook would be quite sufficient. You will need to assess the situation, determine a point of entry, create a distraction and effect an escape, all without being discovered and thrown into an Imperial oubliette.
Ember, Gav isn't our best scout because he can do everything. It's essential that you know your limits.
Know my limits, right. I won't let you down.
I have a terrible USB connection to my charger, to my controller, and it's charging. Sorry.
It shouldn't be as dangerous as I made out. But keep a weather eye on him all the same, would you?
On my way.
On my way.
All right, Ember. Impress me.
This side quest feels like it would have fitted better when the Imperial in this region were at full strength, like when they were all in Sanbreque instead of it being much earlier.
Even now, the capital has moved. The Empire keeps the watchtowers overlooking royal meadows and the Sea of Grace manned. But only by a skeleton crew. It's a trial, not a death sentence.
I'm just we're going here when the Empire is barely even doing anything around here anymore. I'm I walk through this place as a friend, almost. Not necessarily like a friend to the Imperials, but as a known seal wearer. I've got my little badge that says, "Be nice to me."
These are clean kills. Perhaps young Ember really is ready. Or maybe not.
Sneaking mission successful.
Damn it. Ember, draw your sword!
I can't!
Then run! If you want him, you'll have to go through me.
Stricken with fear.
Too slow. Maruna!
That's how I like to finish my fights. Good work. Never should have come here.
Ember, are you... Gone. Of course. Scouts really are a rare breed. Back to Northreach it is then.
Is a scouter not a fighter? He's not even here.
I didn't expect you back so soon. Where is Ember? How did he fare?
I thought I'd find him with you. He must have fled. I followed him to Eastwatch, where I found him being set upon by a wild Avis. He was just standing there. Didn't even draw his sword. I had to step in and take care of things. But by the time I had, he was nowhere to be seen. I assumed he'd set off in your direction, but apparently not.
I'm sorry, Sid. I knew the boy had a nervous streak, but he seemed like...
The right man for the job?
Okay, he's back.
I believe this is the logbook you tasked me with retrieving.
How did you... Don't you tell me you breached the tower while Sid was busy saving your skin.
What? Wasn't that what you asked me to do? To bring the thing back without getting caught?
He has you then, Isabel. And he did it all on his own.
But Sid, he
did what he thought was best. And now I have to decide whether I agree.
Know your
Of
limits.
course. We'll await your evaluation back at the hideaway. Don't you leave my sight.
Yes, Sergeant.
Know your limits, and my limits is not fighting a wild Avis. That's funny.
This won't be an easy decision.
Do I actually make the decision, or is that just the game making it seem like I'm making the decision? We'll ruminate on that, and then we'll do the quest that's here.
A fortress?
He's a bit of a smart ass, that one. But he did get the book.
I would speak with this Duke.
Saw the captain just now.
Your town needs you.
Alright, let's get the follow-up to this guy. It's trying to turn this place into military land.
Do you have a moment, Clive?
What is it?
It's the Duke, unsurprisingly. His Eminence has assumed full control of the garrison and put every able-bodied man to work on the fortifications. The town was left all but unguarded, so Philippe was compelled to form a citizens' watch to fill the void. And though my dear boys have been characteristically willing to assist him in this, they want for bodies. So I was wondering if you would lend them your strength, that the people of Northreach might sleep easier, if only for a few nights.
Of course. Whatever you need.
Thank you, Clive. What would I do without you? Philippe told me he had men stationed at...
Where can I find the mistress of this establishment?
Here, my lady. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
My name is Sabine, and it is my displeasure to be the daughter of the Duke of Oriflamme, who I understand is causing you and your town no small amount of trouble. I wish to speak to you about what might be done.
Very well. Let us speak. I trust you'll forgive me, Clive.
Absolutely. Our conversation can wait.
Please, proceed.
As you know, my father is a most overbearing and supercilious man, and I join you in objecting to his every action. Indeed, I owe you my thanks for continuing to argue against his reckless plans. Yet I fear he is not one to be swayed by reason. No. He must be made to face the consequences of his actions.
And who would make him do this?
I would. Myself and several other like-minded individuals. Were you to join us, we would surely have the strength to drive him from Northreach for good.
Does that not seem a trifle... drastic?
Drastic action is precisely what is called for. Unless you are content to see your people downtrodden and dispossessed. My father would have it that citizens exist only to serve the Empire. That they should be forced to make every sacrifice to ensure her revival. But he is wrong. It is not the people who must serve the Empire, but the Empire who must serve her people. He's always been like this. Scornful of the opinions of anyone he judged beneath him. But he cannot be allowed to ride roughshod over the common folk any longer. We must fight him. By all possible means.
Fight him? No. My purpose is to quell the tension in Northreach, not to stoke it. Respectfully, my lady. Our only chance of saving this town depends upon every one of us uniting against our common enemy. Your father and his followers included. While I understand your frustrations, I cling to the hope that he may yet be won round.
False hope, I assure you. But I see that your mind is made up. I shall bother you no longer. If you will extend me the same courtesy, I bid you good day.
I bid you good day.
She certainly has spirit.
Indeed. But unfortunately for us, that spirit is only likely to harden the Duke's resolve, which may be enough to seal the fate of this town. Not that she cares. This is all about her and her father.
Families.
I'm sorry, where were we? Ah, yes. I was about to tell you of Philippe's plans for the town watch, but perhaps it's better that you heard them from him. I believe he's in the market, if you'd be so kind as to seek him out.
Right away.
It's just a pity I cannot join you. I'd like to see the two of you in action together.
I'd like to see the two of you in action together. What kind of action are you talking about, though, Isabel? What kind of action are you talking about? Alright, let's speak to the man.
So you are content to abandon the people to their fates? Please, I beseech you. If you are a true son of Northreach, you must fight to defend your home.
That's exactly what I am doing, milady. Or trying to, at least. The land is crawling with fiends, and someone has to keep watch.
Even when our true enemy is hiding in the garrison? Fine. You're not the only able-bodied man in Northreach. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, damn.
She cornered you too, then?
Could hardly get a word in edgeways. Like father, like daughter, eh?
She made an uninvited appearance at the Vale earlier, hoping to convince the Dame to join her in fomenting rebellion.
I bet that went well. Her ladyship seems to have a way with people. Anyway, what brings you here?
Our mutual friend thought you might welcome some help.
Oh, she did she? Right as always. In fact, you're just the man. We've had some reports, you see. Sightings of, you know what.
They're back.
Seems that way. All over, too. We haven't been able to confirm anything yet, but if you're willing, you could go and see what's what.
Right. Where should I look?
You know Grieger's Weep? One of the sightings places them somewhere on its shores.
I'm on my way.
Thank you, Clive. I'll look into one of the other sightings. Let's rendezvous back here later.
Alrighty. Let's go make for Grieger's Weep, shall we? Great Grieger's Gash! Honestly, some of the fucking things that get spoken. This and Dragon Age, so funny. And then you've got Elden Ring with Marika's tits, you've got Andraste's knickers, Great Grieger's Gash.
Damn it. The reports were true. I need to stop them before they get to the town.
Look at them all collected together like that.
You're finished!
Who's curing him? It's just the funnest ability to use, god damn it. It's just the funnest ability to use.
Call that a test, Ultima?
Clive, it's me. Are you all right?
I am. But it seems the reports were true. The thralls have returned. I dispatched the few that I found, though.
Well, that's something, I suppose. But what were they doing south of town? They all came from the north last time. We might be able to fend off an attack from one side or the other, but from both?
Do you have eyes in the north?
Some. I should probably go and have a look, though, just to be sure. Now, you head back to Northreach. I want you there just in case war breaks out while I'm away.
What do you mean?
Her ladyship's been busy working her magic on the townspeople, stirring up ill feeling towards her father. But she'll have her marching on the barracks if we're not careful.
What? This is exactly what the Dame was afraid of. I'll do what I can to calm things down. Be careful out there, all right?
Don't worry, I'm not like you. One sniff of those things and I'm running back to town screaming blue murder.
Ooh, okay. Tension.
Do you not see, Father? The people of Northreach have given enough, and only a fool would ask for more.
Listen to me, Sabine. Where would our people be without their country, The Empire is their sword and their shield. It is she that ensures they can live without fear. And now she teeters on the brink. Without their sword, how will the people fight? Without their shield, how will they protect their kin? Can the unarmed stand against the advancing hordes? No. But there is yet hope. A new shield, a new sword. A new empire. We can rebuild Sandbreck, just as Great Grieger wills it.
Perhaps we could, Father. But we don't want to. Not if it is built on the broken backs of the people.
Please, let us not quarrel in the street. You must see that no good will come of this. Our fight is not with each other, but with the threat that draws ever closer to our gates. A threat that your sword has yet to rid us of, Your Eminence.
You will hold your tongue, whore! You may have filled my daughter's head with your heresy, but I will not be corrupted.
Corrupted? Your daughter's opinions are her own, as you would know if you had ever deigned to listen to her. At least I hope they are your opinions, and not posturing born of a family feud. Northreach deserves better than that.
Northreach deserves better than you, Carla! Yes, I know who you are. The slut of Twinside who bedded a Branded.
Jealous, are you? That a woman might choose a bearer over a pious man of Grieger.
Clive! I met a swarm of thralls coming south from Oriflamme. Hundreds of them. Too many to count.
No. Work on the fortifications has scarcely begun. We will retreat to Caer Norvent and there make our stand. Did you hear me? That was an order!
While this is but a heartfelt plea, let us make our stand here and protect our homes. Protect those that we love. Together, for Northreach!
You heard the dame. What are we waiting for? Pikemen to the gates. Archers to the roofs. Quickly, come on!
But she is but a common...
whore, yes. And we'd follow her to the gates of hell.
Whore, yes. What of it, mate? You bloody old cunt. Proper cinematic in a cutscene, too. In a side quest, sorry.
The men have their orders, and they look like following them. I got them spaced out at regular intervals. Whichever direction the thralls strike from, there'll be someone there to meet them.
Thank you, Philippe. Rest assured the people will play their part. The herbalist has donated her stock of medicines to me. Should any of your men be injured, take them to the Vale. We'll see to them there.
Thank you, milady. I will.
I'll play my part too. You still want for numbers. Unlike the enemy. I only hope I can go some way to evening the odds. Philippe, can I leave the south in your hands? I doubt the thralls by the lake were the last of their number.
Of course. I'll lead a party down that way so we don't get taken by surprise. What about you?
I'll make my way up the road to Oriflamme. I've fought a few of these things. And while I can't promise to hold them all back, I should be able to thin the herd.
All right. But take care.
Thank you. Both of you.
You can thank us when it's over.
Till then, madame.
Perhaps you said.
Yeah, we don't usually get cutscenes in side quests like that, so that was cool to see.
I have served the Duke for many years, and I hope to do so for many more. But I cannot turn my back on these people. Our people.
Usually ones that aren't from the perspective of Clive, anyway. Just interesting to see that play out.
Merciful creature. Wherefore would you forsake me?
Father.
Now she's more sympathetic towards him now that he's alone. Alright, let's make for Oriflamme.
Steel in the hands of every man.
I love that I have 3 quests that is make for location.
If any get by, you can trust we'll be here to meet them head on.
Ah yes, hundreds of them. Where are they at? Where are these hundreds? Give us a Kingdom Hearts 2 1001 Heartless battle.
There are so many of them.
Not for long.
Is it over?
No. It's only just begun.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Let's try.
All yours, Torgal.
Thanks, boy.
Silence! Now, Torgal!
Let's try. Too slow.
Big boy's got nothing on me, baby. We got some ability points to spend though, that's for sure.
That looks to be the last of them. I wonder how the others fared. Better hurry back to town. Come on, Torgal.
I always love that Joshua's with us and he even commented on the size of the party, but then in scenes like that, he's not with us. He appears and disappears whenever he wills it.
Clive, it's good to see you.
And you. The road to Oriflamme is clear. How did you and your men fare?
Well, we ended up fighting for our lives down by the lake. Took a few nicks, but nothing the girls of the Vale can't put right.
Glad to hear it.
Well, it seems we've survived. For the time being, at least. I thank you both for answering the call.
You were right. And I was wrong. About everything. I had thought that the only way to unite the people was under the banner of Empire. That without a strong hand to guide them, they would drift apart. To be borne hither and yon by the eddying currents of fate. But you brought them together. Not by force, nor by the exercise of goddess-given authority, but by simply being one of them. By knowing what they feel, because you feel it yourself.
Our purpose was ever the same, Your Eminence. You were merely distracted by a loftier vision of empire and glory, while our eyes beheld matters closer to home.
You have the right of it again. As did you, Sabine. His radiance said it himself. Sanbreque is naught without her citizens. I forgot that, and I am sorry.
I'm sorry too, Father. I should never have taken things so far. I only wanted you to understand how the people felt. How I felt. But my anger got the better of me.
Do not blame yourself, my dear. This was my doing. I should have listened to you. To all of you.
Your Eminence, your ladyship, I do not doubt that you came here with the best of intentions. But I believe the same could be said of us all. We all want safety, security, prosperity. Not just for Northreach, but for the entire realm. And we may yet achieve it. If only we work together. Will you join us in this?
Yes. We shall.
Thank you, Your Eminence. Now that that is settled, I must go and see to the wounded. The Vale's doors are always open to any soldier in need of relief. And today there are more than ever before.
Time to go relieve the boys.
Madam Isabel is a rare soul indeed. In these dark times, I see that it is not men like me who should lead the realm, but women like her.
You're right. If only I'd listened to her when I had the chance.
Forgive me for saying so, my lady, but you still do. The dame said it herself. We can turn things around. We just have to work together. And that goes for you, too. You're one of us now.
One of you.
Well said, Captain. Let this be a new beginning. Not only for Sanbreque, but for us.
Well, since there's nothing more to be done here, I should see if Isabel needs any help moving the wounded.
My work is done here. Like 5 minutes earlier, the Duke was like, "You whore!" 5 minutes later, "You should lead this place." It's just like the quickest realization and change of heart.
One of the dames, aren't you? Leave it to her to spot an able body.
Alright, mate. Just because I be helping out everyone like I'm contractually obligated.
I saw several soldiers being carried to the Vale.
How goes the treatment of the wounded? I'd be happy to man one end of a stretcher if it would help.
You've helped quite enough for one day, Clive. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Oh, but I must. After all you've done for this town, it is the very least you deserve.
Tell me, if Northreach had fallen, what would you have done? A woman of your means could find a home anywhere in the realm, but I sense you would rather have died here.
It's a long story.
For you, madame, I have all the time in the world.
Very well. Long ago, I had a life in the Crystalline Dominion. I was Carla then, courtesan to the nobility. So sought after was I that it was only they who could afford my time. Alas, those halcyon days were not to last. For naive as I was, I fell in love with a bearer. He was my master's guard, the gentlest man I have ever known. After they discovered us together, he was whipped bloody and forbidden from ever looking at me again. And so we fled. Not that we had anywhere to flee to. We wandered, aimless and starving, half dreading, half praying that the next day would be our last. Until we found ourselves here, in Northreach. It was the Vale that took us in, that fed us, clothed us, and healed our hurts. Those that could be healed, at least. My love was already too far gone.
He passed away.
He did. Not long after we arrived. But at least we were able to share a few moments of peace before the end. It was the greatest gift I have ever received. But the generosity of this town and her people did not end there. The men and women of the Vale supported me through my grief, shared in it, though I was still a stranger to them. They treated me like a sister. And so I swore that I would always do the same. That I would return the kindness that Northreach showed me. That I would repay my debt to the Vale.
Thank you, Isabel, for sharing this with me.
You're a lot like him, you know. Perhaps that is why I have such a soft spot for you. Never stop fighting, Clive. And I shan't either. I know that it will not be easy to keep Northreach together. But our efforts will be rewarded. Just look at us now. The people, the soldiers, even the Duke of Oriflamme and his daughter, all united in defense of this town that we have come to call our home. And what of you? Can we count on your support too?
Always.
Always, because Clive can never say no. There we go, there's our follow-up to Under New Management. Oh, we got an orichalcum from this quest. I can make the sword now. I can make the ultimate sword. Vale signboard, the emblem of the Vale, Northreach's far-famed house of ill repute. The town is the gateway to the imperial capital of Oriflamme, where waves of old money and new lap against the opposing sides of the Great Wall. Good show. There you go. That was the end of New Management was a pretty long-winded part 1 and 2 quest, because there's a lot of, I guess, contextual stuff that you need and a lot of conversations to take place and not as much action, but it does give you some rewarding backstories to what happened with Isabel, and also an old man shouting, "Haw!"
We have brought Northreach together. Now the fight begins to keep her together. For if this town is to survive, we must all play our part, including you, Clive.
Yeah, having that first part take place, obviously before it doesn't even say part 1, but like the way that it ends, you're like, okay, this will probably continue into something else. And alas, it do. I'm going to head back to the hideaway, because we've got to follow up a quest here. There's a new one here, and we can now craft Gottadamerang with Blackthorn. Oh, the side quest is the... Yeah, there's one.
So what do I owe the honor? Crack the crystal?
Kill a god, save the world. I miss anything? No, that's pretty much the plan.
Not a very good one.
If you ask me.
But then...
I can't say I've had much practice killing gods. Now forging kit to kill a god, that I might be able to help you with. I reckon it's the least I can do after all you've given us. It's more than enough. You can thank me when you get back. And that's, it's time to make... No, it's not. Damn. I got too excited. No. I need a dark steel. No. Guys, don't look. Damn. Circle of Heaven is better than the belt that I'm wearing now.
Should last you a good while. Not my best work, but it'll do.
Sun bracelets are not, obviously, because of what I got an upgrade to. Alright, well, we crafted something, so it's not all pointless. What did we replace the rune belt, I think? Oh, we bought a Circle of Heaven. Nice, well, false alarm. Let's go read our missive then. Look at this piling up here. Look at all of our stuff. Behold, our stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces still remain. And I think we've been getting one for every single one so far. So I guess that means we have 7 side quests left. The emblem of the Vale, Northreach's far-famed house of ill repute. The town is the gateway to the imperial capital of Oriflamme, where waves of old money and new lap against the opposing sides of the Great Wall. However, the Vale's proprietor Isabel knows it best as a safe haven in a storm, the town that took her in, and the man she loved when the rest of the world shunned them. Constant. Now it sleeps in Clive's chambers, a constant reminder of the bravery and selflessness of the man in whose footsteps he and his brother mean to follow. Mid has allowed Clive to keep hold of the model that once her renown has grown, he might sell the piece for an exorbitant amount of gil. Scholar's bonnet. Vivian shares her learning with Clive, the gift of the bonnet serving as a pledge that so long as they remain together, her knowledge shall be as much his as it is her own. As Clive often proved a difficult patient, reluctant to come to the infirmary, Taya commissioned this curio that he might take part of the infirmary with him. And it is a reminder of who Clive once was and who he has become, as well as the unbreakable bond between lifelong friends. It's cool to see all those pieces together. Oh my god, hello everyone. Jesus. Whole again. Clive, it occurs to me that a single word of thanks does not nearly suffice to express my gratitude for reuniting me with From a Distance. The tome made me who I am today, and yet I thought that I should never set eyes upon it again, that those who took it from me had forever robbed me of a part of myself. But now I am whole again, thanks to you. I regret that I can only fill in the gaps in your knowledge, but not the holes in your soul, for which reason I shall ever be in your debt. Wages of fate. Do you remember what you told me that night at Phoenix Gate? That while the fate of Rosaria sits on my shoulders, the fate of its dominance sits upon yours. But are we both not dominant of fires? Dominance of fires. Does not the flame of our forebears burn in both our hearts? Should I not protect you as you have protected me? You have chosen to be my shield. Now let me choose to be yours. Is this not what our father wanted? What Sid wanted? To cast aside fate and forge our own paths? Grant me this, Clive. Let me be your strength. That which conquers all. Here, not long removed from when you last placed yourself between us and peril, I sit and pen yet another letter in which I try to find the words to somehow express the gratitude of an entire town. Still, something feels different about our latest triumph. Where in the past we leaned ever so heavily upon your good graces, this time we found strength elsewhere, in ourselves. Our hardship has shown us that which we should have been apparent all along. We are not as different as we want to believe. Does a peasant love his homeland any less than a noble? Does a bearer love his family any less than another man does his own? Is it this love? It is this love that has united us and given us true strength. Should every thrall, akashic, bandit, and brigand in the realm come charging our gates, we will not fret, we will not falter, we will fight, and we will win. A concern for Jill. Though her icon brought her much suffering, the loss of Shiva weighs heavy on her heart, and we would be poor friends indeed if we not seek to lighten that burden, even but only a fraction, before we depart for the skies. I would speak more on this in private. Heed Joshua's request. How weird is it, right? That we require Joshua to be like, hey man, you should go and ask your girlfriend how she's doing. Because she's probably dealing with some shit, but she hides it because she just goes, anything for you, Clive, and I'll always be here, and the moon is praying for us. And Clive never goes, hey babe, you want to talk about your problems? I'm here for you too.
If Joshua's worried about Jill, I should go and speak with him.
Are you worried about Jill? Care for your wife, sir. Let's speak with Joshua about his letter. Priceless quest. This is obviously the most important quest now because it involves Jill.
Joshua, I read your message. You're right. Jill is different. I don't think I'd realized how different, but since we returned from Drake's spine, I felt it more and more.
I suppose it's not hard to imagine why.
She doesn't think she belongs anymore.
And that's why we need to remind her she is still one of us. To let her know that we still need her, now more than ever. That you still need her. But how to do that? When last we were truly close, we were but children.
Of course. Do you remember the time we accompanied Father on his annual tour of the Duchy? And Jill and I broke from the procession to ride up Man's Hill.
To see the snow daisies, I remember. It was the first time Father had allowed us to join him. And when he realized you were missing, he had the entire retinue down to the pot boys combing the countryside.
In the rain. A thunderstorm forced us to take refuge in a grove of oaks before we'd even made it halfway there. It was the Lord Commander who finally found us, and needless to say, he was none too pleased.
Then it seems you and Jill have unfinished business. What do you say?
Man's Hill. It's not that far.
Oh, true. Though I suspect it is also much changed. Little in southern Rosaria remains as it was when we were children.
You're saying I should go and scout the area for bandits?
I'm saying we should first go and see if there are actually still any snow daisies left. What would you do without me, Clive?
True. He's being your best wingman right now. He's going, hey man, you know your wife? I'm worried about her. Are you? He's like, actually, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, actually, I'm a little bit worried about her now that you mention it. Gonna go do a snow daisy date with Joshua.
I can't say my travels ever took me back to Man's Hill. I'm curious to see how it has fared.
All right. Let's go and check out a new location. So, there it is. There it finally is. The blocked path for the entire game, where I'm like, is this even going to open at this point? I'm like severely doubting it. Like, why is it even a thing? Here we go. And that is why. That looks kind of blighted and dead to me.
This is the place, but
I'm sorry, Clive.
Use your phoenix magic.
There's nowhere been spared.
Bring it to life.
What do we do now?
We keep looking. Man's Hill cannot be the only place where snow daisies grow.
Perhaps, but it's the only place I know of. Knew of.
Then why not ask someone who might know of another?
Someone at the backyard? To the hideaway, then.
Could you imagine how long it takes to, like, travel? Like, we can fast travel, but you have to keep in mind that Clive doesn't actually have the ability of teleportation. We have to have a suspension of disbelief when we travel between Waloed and the hideaway to, like, resupply during our Waloed adventures in the story, because obviously the only way back is via the Enterprise, and you have to, like, think, like, we had to go back to the Enterprise to then go back to Storm and then get the boat to the hideaway, and then you go all the way back to Waloed. You know, you got to hand wave some suspension of disbelief there. I actually thought we were going to get, like, locked in to Waloed without the ability to travel back, so I was surprised that they didn't do that, because Final Fantasy have locked you into points of no return before. I thought that would be the case, but, you know, then you've got a little point of silliness. How crazy is it that this little pathway to just this area is blocked off for the whole entire game just for that? That's so crazy. And now, think of where we are. We're out here. We have to go and then walk all the way back to the hideaway after walking all the way out. So much time passes in all of these travels.
Let's hope one of the gardeners knows where to find snow daisies.
Like when it's just us casually going out to Northreach. We are traveling. We're not teleporting.
Say what you will, Lady Karen has seen her.
So a lot more time passes than we think, I suppose. It's just hard to keep track of time when you're thinking about fast traveling, and that goes for all fantasy games and RPGs anyway. You're always like, yes, it'll be days to weeks of travel.
Oh, what brings you down from the heavens, Sid?
I need your advice. Joshua and I are looking for a place where snow daisies grow. Preferably in abundance.
Snow daisies. Then you'll want somewhere not too hot and not too cold, and where the winds are strong enough to carry the seeds. I reckon Man's Hill would be a good place to start. There in the Royal Meadows, perhaps? Both have similar climbs and the right elevation. If the Blight hasn't claimed them yet.
Right. Thank you.
Did you learn where we might find our flowers?
The gardener here mentioned the Royal Meadows in Sambrek.
Ah, the fields beyond Northreach. Well, if that's the case, then Yote was right. I recalled that she kept the record of our travels, you see. So I asked her if she'd perhaps noted anywhere that snow daisies grew, and she mentioned Oilefeist Bay.
Whose shores border the meadows. Off we go then.
Off we go then. To Northreach, where a lot of the crops are all dying constantly, but I guess snow daisies may persevere.
The winds that blow across the Royal Meadows from Oilefeist Bay are strong indeed. Strong enough for snow daisies, it seems.
Okay. Alright, let's see, and now, weeks of travel ahead of us. Wait, what do I need to do in here? Trial and error. Oh, this is, tomes, I believe. We'll do that. Alright. Whee! For the snow daisies. Alright. I'm seeing a lot of fucking flowers over there, mate.
Look, brother. You see them?
The flowers and our friends.
Ah, yes, I love just spinning my blade on the spot. Good, jolly good show.
Careful, brother. Say it again.
Flower time. Oh, not flower time.
What do you see, boy?
We must fight the protector of the flowers. Oh my lord, okay. Beefcake Rhino.
Let's hope this is the last one.
Only one way to find out.
I love getting my timing just right to get clubbed into the ground.
Soil and stone! All yours, Paul!
Joshua just getting launched. Look at that last guy. Builds up a level 5 Zansetsu can boop. Why? I wonder why those wolves even bothered coming in.
That was harder than I expected.
Oh no, and all the fighting, we crushed all of the flowers.
But Founder, it was worth it. They're beautiful.
Do you think Jill will like them?
She'll love them. Come on. Let's go.
And then I assume we're bringing Jill here.
It appears my work is done. The rest, as they say, is up to you. Well, you and the skies. We wouldn't want another thunderstorm now, would we?
Okay. Return to the hideaway and speak with Jill.
Jill, there's something I'd like to show you.
There is? And where might this something be?
It's, not here. Now, I know this is sudden, but how would you fancy a trip to Oriflamme?
You didn't even give her a chance to say yes. You just walked away. May as well just said, you're coming with me to Oriflamme. 5 years later, we travel here again.
There are so many. This is what you wanted to show me. I don't know what to say.
You don't need to say anything. The smile on your face is enough. We've been worried about you, Joshua and I. Do you remember when I took you to Man's Hill? Or tried to?
How could I forget? You saw me crying and thought a change of scenery might lift my spirits. In the end, it earned me a nasty cough and a stern scolding from your mother. But I felt wonderful nonetheless.
I'm sorry. I had no idea what I was getting us both into. But I couldn't bear to see you like that.
Before we left, my chambermaid told me she'd overheard your mother talking about my marriage prospects with some of the noblewomen at court. They were debating whether it would be more profitable to marry me off to one of the high houses instead of saving me for the ducal line. No one thought to ask me what I wanted. I was nothing to them. A pawn at best. I felt so trapped, so lonely.
I didn't know.
But I wasn't alone. You were there. Your hand in mine as we ran for those oaks. And I knew then, no matter what happened, I would be all right. I'll never forget that feeling. Before we broke camp, the morning after the storm, do you know what I did?
No? What?
I slipped away from my governess to climb the tor. And from there I saw a sea of petals, all reaching for the sun. And I realized no matter how terrible the night, dawn would always come. That you would always come for me. And you have. Again and again.
Where do you see us? When all this is over?
I don't know. Not here, though. I think I've outgrown the twins. After everything we've been through, the realm just seems so small. I'll need some space to spread my wings.
Then that's what you'll have. And I'll stop at nothing to see that you do.
Was much good at garlands, but it'll have to do.
I'll treasure it forever.
Thank you, Clive, for this, the flowers, for everything. It's exactly what I needed. You are my treasure.
Romance, baby! Oh, it's so good. Thank Joshua for that one. He's like, thank you, Clive. So, no, thank you, my brother. He's the one who suggested it. Oh, we love the brother suggested perfect date. God, that's great. That should be a main quest. What the fuck?
We should probably be getting back. I expect the others are wondering where we are.
You're right. There's still much to do.
And we'll do it together.
This is a main quest. This, like, needs to be part of the main story. You're not supposed to force your players to potentially miss this. You force it upon your players. You don't miss the romance element of the Final Fantasy story, because a Final Fantasy game is always a love story. All right? It always is. And if you can't find a love story in a Final Fantasy game, you're not looking hard enough. All right? That should be a main quest. Absolutely. Because it just is very, very satisfying. You don't want people to miss that. That was beautiful. And yes, thank you to Joshua for that, being the ultimate wingman, quite literally, Phoenix wingman. Song of Winter, Autumn Gone, From Frosted Lips, Oblivion, a Northern Nursery Rhyme. Reduces Diamond Dust cooldown by 7.5 seconds. That's what we want, baby. A Snow Daisy Garland, a fragrant diadem handwoven by Jill from flowers picked on the shores of Oilefay Bay. Amazing. Good stuff. Big fan of that. Is Joshua here? Joining hands with Jill. Jill has joined Clive's party and will remain with him until departing for Origin. Oh, where's Joshua? Did I just switch Joshua out for Jill? I don't get two of them at this. I don't get both? Or is Joshua just not here because it was Jill's important mission? I guess we'll next find out when we go out into the field, won't we? Whether we have both or just one. That was such a beautiful scene. So good. I loved the stuff that they were talking about. And like, this is the thing, right? I think I've been reading and hearing complaints about Jill's character being underdeveloped, and I'm like, she has many moments as a companion character in this story for her to, you know, talk about things and shine as a character. She has a lot of character development when you go to where you confront like her previous captors when I get all the Drake's crystals mixed up. The one near Rosaria and like the Iron Army. That was really good for Jill's character, and seeing the Shiva transformation. Like, I think people forget how much Jill has been through, right? She was literally a child when she was picked up and taken away from the Northern Reaches, put in Rosaria as like, here, you're with us now. And then just talk of like growing up, using her as like a profitable marriage. And then Rosaria is in flames because the Duchess betrays everyone. She gets kidnapped and forced into iconic slavery to be the Iron Army's dominant. Like, that's gonna fuck you up mentally, because then they started threatening other people's lives for forcing her to transform and all of that kind of thing, you know? Like, it's just messy. She's had a really shit time, and seeing her like come out in like these beautiful moments and like being reunited with not only like Clive but Joshua and other people, and really find her place within the hideaway and among the group. She has a really beautiful story. Like all of the characters and all of the side characters and party members have incredible storytelling around them all. Like, they give almost every single character an equal time in the spotlight. I mean, that could be a potential reason why you think that Jill might be like slightly underdeveloped maybe in certain areas, because you want her like maybe almost as front and center like Clive is. But like, they give so much attention to detail on so many characters, and Jill feels exceptionally represented to me in a lot of ways. Every single side character in this game has a purpose here, and they're not just forgettable, and they're not just there and you never even think about them again. Like, I thought that for a while with certain characters. We reached a point in the story when I was like, oh, I wonder if these characters are going to come back again. And they did, in a big way. You know, they circle back again. Everyone is so important here, and that's a big theme of the game, is it's not just Clive against the world, but it's everyone with him. I really appreciate it. I think maybe people who have those certain complaints about certain characters are probably skipping side quests, and they're probably rushing through just a main story. And the main story even has some significant Jill moments in there too, you know. But there's a lot of character that people might miss depending on what they actually absorb in this game. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was a lifetime ago. That afternoon on Man's Hill was our very first adventure, but somehow I knew even then that it would not be our last. I will never forget that day, and the simple fact that you have not either fills my heart with a joy so fierce I cannot describe it. Since the moment we first met, you have always been an important part of me, the half that makes me whole. When times are darkest, you are my light. When I am lost, you are my guiding star. You are just what I need. You are all that I need. You are the greatest gift. Jill. Look at that fucking pure oozing romance. My God. Don't worry, guys. One day we'll receive a letter like that from our special someone. Just one day. Oh my God. All right, let's have a look around this corner here, and we'll check out this little trial and error. Because we've got to deliver our...
You should have seen him. The thing didn't stand a chance.
Got to deliver our judgment.
Neither did you, I hear. Welcome back, Sid.
Welcome back, Sid.
Yes. Welcome back. Trip wasn't too much of a pain in the arse, I hope. Truth be told, it was me who suggested roping you in to help with the trial. But from what I hear, things didn't go quite as planned.
No, they most certainly did not.
Oh. There is the decision to be made. He did what we told him to do. Know his limits. He went and completed the job. He's a scout. He took on our advice and took it to heart while he got a bit paralyzed with the fight there, which caught him off guard. He still scouted. He still got under the book undetected.
Ember lost his nerve in the face of a beast of prey, but he didn't lose heart. He pressed on, and he achieved his aim. And is that not what we ask of our scouts?
Indeed it is. Thank you for your honest appraisal, Sid. The fact remains, however, that Ember will not always have a battle-hardened warrior on hand to pluck him from the jaws of peril. All I have gleaned from this trial is that without someone watching his back, Ember is little more than a liability.
Wait, Sergeant. Ember still has much to learn, it's true. And this time he was found wanting. But I'd say he's due a second chance, nonetheless. After all, he did do as you asked.
With a bit of hard work, any hand can be made to hold a blade, and any mind can conquer its fears. But a scout's nose is different. You've either got one, or you ain't. And by sniffing out that log, young Ember here has shown he has a conch and a half. Wouldn't do to waste it now, would it?
Fine. One more chance.
I'll do whatever you ask. I'll spend my days and nights in the pit if I have to. I'll show you. Just you wait.
Daft as a brush, that one. But his heart's in the right place. Just like someone else we know. And if you ask me, we've been leaning on him for far too long. That time the Cursebreakers took some of the weight off his shoulders, I reckon.
It couldn't hurt.
Just don't tell Gav I said so, will you? I won't have him thinking he's been hard done by. Next thing you know, he'll be asking for a day off. Chance would be a fine thing. Back to work.
Forgive me, Sid. This did not play out as I expected.
Things really do these days. But that's why we need men like Ember more than ever. Men who can make the best out of a bad situation. Remember that.
I will, Sid. Thank you.
Gav, you are forced to scout every single day of your life until the end of days. Please. Nice. The Breath of Lightning for the pile drive. A new quest is available nearby. Would you believe it? Silver Linings with Gav. Because that's where Gav's standing. He's like, hey, I hear you recruited a goddamn scout. What are you talking about? It's mine. Okay. 5% damage increase. Lionheart tonic duration by another 30 seconds. I might just ditch that and I'll go for Diamond Dust cooldown instead, I reckon. And then I've got a bunch. Actually, I've got exactly the amount of ability points I need. Because we don't even... I've got... You know what? We haven't even used this yet. You shitting me? I've upgraded this thing. I haven't even equipped it onto Odin. Totally forgot we even had Dancing Steel as a thing. And I think that's because my brain just thinks of the Zansetsuken as like the ultimate ability. So I've just kept these. And forgot about this. And I can assign it to any icon if I do this one. Why not? And then Rift Slip we haven't even checked out yet. Used to recover from any ability or action. Let's master Dancing Steel so then we can actually see it in action. Summon a second blade and unleash a flurry of attacks. Each hit landed significantly fills the Zansetsuken gauge. And honestly, I might take off Gouge and put it on there instead. Simply because Diamond Dust and Raging Fists are both enough to remove a stagger meter. And Gouge is okay. But I think we can do without it. So we'll keep Diamond Dust and Flames of Rebirth there. We'll see what Dancing Steel will be like. But alas, with that one, it brings this episode of Final Fantasy XVI to a close. We'll be pursuing more of our side quests and also some new hunts that have appeared next time. Thank you so much for joining me for, again, some very intentionally crafted, beautifully woven side quests. Some good stories here with a lot of characters, and especially, obviously, Joshua's one and Jill's one being the most important there with these characters, and some really heartfelt stories that I think should be main quests before we go to Origin. I get the whole implementing all of these side quests here, but I feel like before they make for Origin, they should have like these main character quests, like with Joshua and with Jill and stuff like that. Those feel super integral and not optional, you know? But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Final Fantasy XVI, and I'll see you next time.